Every Dr. Bashir love interest in Star Trek. When we first meet Dr. Julian Bashir in Star Trek, Deep Space Nine's pilot, Emissary, it's clear he's a man of boundless energy, relentless charm, and a somewhat inflated sense of his own romantic prowess. Actor Alexander Siddig gave Bashir a mix of intellectual brilliance, social awkwardness, and boyish self-confidence that often put him in awkward romantic situations, both on and off the station. Over 7 seasons, Bashir had more than a few love interests, ranging from fleeting flirtations to long-term relationships. Some were reciprocated, some ended in heartbreak, and some, well, let's just say they were probably better left in the realm of holosuite daydreams. Here's a look back at every Dr. Bashir love interest in Star Trek and how each shaped the character over time. 1. Jadzia Dax, the first crush. From the moment Bashir set eyes on Jadzia Dax in the station's operations center, his heart and his ego were caught in the tractor beam of her beauty, intellect, and mysterious Trill past. Dax was a joined Trill, meaning she carried the memories and experiences of previous hosts, one of whom was Curzon Dax, a close friend of Benjamin Sisko. Bashir's crush on Dax was innocent enough, but his constant attempts to win her affection became a running gag in the early seasons. He'd invite her to dinner, try to impress her with his medical expertise, and awkwardly insert himself into her conversations. The reality was that Dax enjoyed Bashir's company but wasn't romantically interested in him, and she certainly wasn't going to date the station's newest doctor before he'd even gotten comfortable in his quarters. Over time, Bashir's crush mellowed into genuine friendship, and his early pursuit of Dax remains a charming reminder of his youthful eagerness. 2. Lita, the brief romance. Lita, the Byron Dabo girl working at Quark's, was one of Bashir's first actual girlfriends. Their relationship began casually, sparked by mutual attraction and Bashir's boyish charm. She wasn't a scientist or a Starfleet officer, but Lita was smart, funny, and kind, and she seemed to enjoy Bashir's attention. Their romance, however, didn't last. By season 5's Let He Who Is Without Sin, Lita had fallen for Rom, Quark's awkward but big-hearted brother. In a moment that showed Bashir's emotional growth, he stepped aside without bitterness. In fact, he supported Lita's choice, even helping her with her wedding preparations later in the series. This brief fling taught Bashir a valuable lesson that sometimes letting go gracefully is just as important as winning someone over. 3. Serena Douglas, the quiet connection. One of the most complex and bittersweet of Bashir's relationships was with Serena Douglas, a genetically enhanced human introduced in Season 6's Statistical Probabilities. Serena was part of a group of eccentric, brilliant individuals who had undergone illegal genetic engineering, much like Bashir himself. However, unlike the others, Serena was almost completely unresponsive due to a neurological condition. In Season 7's Chrysalis, Bashir successfully performed surgery to free Serena from her catatonic state. For a short time, she thrived, forming a deep bond with Bashir and even beginning a romance. But Serena quickly realized she wasn't ready for such a relationship, having only just begun to experience the world as a fully conscious adult. She gently ended things, leaving Bashir heartbroken but understanding. This relationship was especially poignant because Serena understood Bashir's own struggles with being genetically enhanced, and their connection was based on mutual empathy. Yet it also underscored how love sometimes isn't enough if the timing isn't right. 4. Ezri Dax, the rebound that almost worked. After Jadzia Dax's death in Season 6, the symbiote was joined to a new host, Ensign Ezri Dax, in Season 7. This threw Bashir into a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. On one hand, Ezri was not Jadzia, but on the other, she carried her memories and shared some of her mannerisms. At first, Bashir was hesitant to pursue anything romantic, not wanting to disrespect Jadzia's memory or his own past crush. But as the season progressed, Ezri and Bashir found common ground in their shared sense of displacement and their ability to understand each other's quirks. By the final episode, What You Leave Behind, the two were a couple, embarking on a relationship that fans hoped might endure after the series ended. While we never see the long-term outcome on screen, the pairing was a satisfying full-circle moment for Bashir, whose earliest romantic misadventures had started with Dax. 5. Melora Pazler, the one that got away. In Season 2's Melora, Bashir met Ensign Melora Pazler, a cartographer who grew up on a low-gravity planet. This meant she needed special equipment and accommodations to function in normal gravity environments. Bashir was immediately drawn to her independence and determination, as well as her intelligence. The two grew close while Bashir worked on a medical treatment to help her adapt more easily to standard gravity. But Melora ultimately decided not to undergo the treatment, realizing it would mean giving up an essential part of her identity. Their relationship ended amicably, with both characters respecting each other's boundaries. This romance highlighted Bashir's compassion and ability to respect his partner's autonomy, even when it meant not getting the outcome he'd hoped for. 6. Polly's Delon, the What Happens on Bajor Fling. In Season 3's Heart of Stone, Bashir casually mentioned a brief encounter with a Byron woman named Polly's Delon. We never see Polly's on screen, and the reference is a blink and you miss it line, but it hints at Bashir's more casual dating life between major relationships. While not a significant romance, the mention of Polly's reminds us that Bashir's life wasn't entirely defined by the relationships we saw. He had off-screen adventures too, adding to his reputation as DS9's resident flirt. 7. Lydia, the holosuite date. Sometimes Bashir's love interests weren't exactly real. In Season 4's Our Man Bashir, the Doctor found himself in a holosuite James Bond-style adventure, playing a suave spy. One of the characters, Lydia, served as the classic Bond girl archetype in this holoprogram. Of course, Lydia wasn't an actual person, but the episode gave fans a playful look at Bashir's romantic fantasies, which, unsurprisingly, were heavily influenced by 20th century spy movies. While purely fictional, it showed how Bashir viewed himself in an idealized light, at least in the realm of simulated danger and romance. 8. Other flirtations and near misses. Bashir was a charming man, and over the years he had many small moments of flirtation with various women on DS9 and beyond. These included playful exchanges with Kira Nerys, though she was never interested, light banter with Quark's employees, and even some friendly tension with Starfleet guests passing through the station. These brief interactions kept his romantic subplot alive even when there wasn't a main storyline devoted to his love life. They also reinforced his role as the station's incurable romantic, someone who believed that the next great love might be just around the corner. Why Bashir's love life mattered. Unlike some Star Trek characters whose romantic arcs were sporadic or non-existent, Bashir's love life was integral to his character development. In the early seasons, his pursuits often came across as clumsy or naive, but as the series went on, his relationships became deeper and more emotionally resonant. ER